Could the Donovan Mitchell trade rumors be back for the New York Knicks? We're going to break it down on today's show. I'm Marshall Green, and you're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. And according to Brian Windhorst, he made some comments on ESPN Cleveland radio, which had Knicks fans thinking, are they about Donovan Mitchell? He was extremely cryptic, and he said he didn't want to tease. And I'm going to be honest with you. It sounded like he was talking about Donovan Mitchell rumors. We'll also talk about what Brian Windhorst had to say a couple weeks ago about if Cleveland Cavaliers fans should be nervous about Donovan Mitchell wanting to be a Knick. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers beat reporter via The Athletic, he's saying Donovan Mitchell wants to be a Knick. So we're going to break all that down in today's show. If you could, hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get to 1,000 likes on today's video. This is what Windhorst had to say on ESPN Cleveland radio today. He said, I have some speculation. There's a couple of outlandish stuff that I'm not going to say right now because I'd get in trouble. I wish I could tell you more, and I know I shouldn't tease you, but just take a look around what you've seen on social media this week and go from there. So what have we seen on social media this week? Well, we saw this picture surface on Twitter today. Donovan Mitchell, Stephen A. Smith, Spike Lee, Allen Houston, and the Knicks assistant coach, Johnny Bryant. I'm sure Johnny Bryant, Stephen A. Smith, Spike Lee, and Allen Houston did not talk to Donovan Mitchell about the New York Knicks at all, right? They were all just in a suite at the Mets game talking about how good of a venue Citi Field is, right? I'm sure Spike, Stephen A., Johnny Bryant, and Allen Houston didn't poke the bear at all. But a couple weeks ago, here you got Allen Houston and Donovan Mitchell playing golf together. So there's been multiple pictures that have surfaced across Twitter over the past couple of weeks of Donovan Mitchell hanging out with important members of the New York Knicks. Let's rewind the clock to Donovan Mitchell going on the Theo Pinson podcast and what he said about playing in Madison Square Garden in the playoffs. He said, for Game 3, when we came out, the noise, the fans, when they did the anthem, bruh, that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. Like, when they did the anthem, I was like, damn, this shit is jumping. Like, I was geeked. Donovan Mitchell wants to be a Knick so bad, and I don't blame him, and it all started last summer. I think he did make a mistake, though. He never demanded a trade from the Utah Jazz to the New York Knicks. If he did that, he'd be wearing an orange and blue right now, and he's not, and he's wearing black, maroon, and gold, and he's playing for Cleveland. But I still believe that the Knicks have their eyes on Donovan Mitchell. He's a free agent soon. We'll talk about that. But I 100% believe that Donovan Mitchell wants to be a Knick. And Jason Lloyd, who covers Cleveland sports for The Athletic, is saying the same thing. He said this a couple of weeks ago. He said, from everyone I've talked to, Donovan Mitchell wants to go to New York. Now, does New York want him? I don't know, but that's where he wants to go. That's where he wants to play. You have 2 years left on the deal for Donovan Mitchell. Do you really think, after all the assets that the Cavs gave up to acquire him, that they're going to run the risk of him leaving and letting him leave and getting nothing in return for him, right? No. You're going to have to trade him with a year left on his contract unless you get a big extension out of him. Unless you get a commitment out of Donovan Mitchell to the Cleveland Cavaliers, I don't think that's happening. So you have the Athletic beat reporter who has talked about the Donovan Mitchell rumors in the Cleveland Cavaliers. You have Brian Windhorst talking about the Cavs, Mitchell, and the New York Knicks rumors. The Mitchell Knicks rumors are never going away. The only thing that's going to put the Donovan Mitchell rumors to bed is when he inevitably and finally puts on the orange and blue and has New York across his chest. Also, that same ESPN Cleveland radio station had Brian Windhorst on a couple of weeks ago and asked him, should Cavs fans be worried? The question from Aaron Goldhammer was, what would you say to Cavs fans who are worried that Donovan Mitchell is still destined to play for the games for the Knicks in the near future? And Brian Windhorst said, it's a reasonable thing to worry about. So you had a couple weeks ago, Brian Windhorst telling Cavs fans you should be worried about Donovan Mitchell. And then today, Brian Windhorst said he's heard intriguing things coming out of Cleveland, which he is not subject to talk about. Now, why would he do that? Brian Windhorst knows something, and everybody knows something. Mitchell wants to be a Knick, and he can be in 2025. In the summer of 2025, that is the first opportunity that Donovan Mitchell can opt out of his contract with the Cavs and become a free agent. So not next summer, but the summer after that. The question is, should the Knicks wait until NBA free agency in 2025 to go sign him, or should they make a move for him? Because it sounds like the Cavs, if they can't get a commitment from Mitchell, they're going to do a trade and trade him. Because Jason Lloyd said this as well. He said, in 2010, when LeBron James left the Cavaliers the first time, their owner, Dan Gilbert, told all the people close to him that, quote, I should have traded LeBron James with a year left on his contract. So they've learned from their mistakes. The Cavs don't want to lose Donovan Mitchell for nothing in NBA free agency. They don't want to trade the player Markkanen and all the players that they moved, Colin Sexton and picks, to get a deal done to land Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland. They don't just want to waste all those assets and not get something back in return. If a Donovan Mitchell contract extension does not get completed over the next 12 months with the Cleveland Cavaliers, I believe the Cavs are going to look to trade Mitchell as soon as next offseason, maybe the NBA trade deadline, or maybe even very, very soon. Sounds like Windhorst has been hinting at that now for a couple of weeks. I'll ask you this question before I give you my take on Donovan Mitchell and if I want to see him as a member of the Knicks. Do you think New York, the Knicks, and Leon Rose should trade for Donovan Mitchell? If Donovan Mitchell is on the trade block, do you think the Knicks should trade for him? Type T for trade, type P for pass. I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. And remember, we have a deal going on, and it's not going to last forever. When you go to chatsports.com/Knicks Combo, you're going to get 2 T-shirts for less than $30. If you want 2 T-shirts that are Knicks related for less than $30, go to the link right here, chatsports.com/Knicks Combo. The earth is just, it's a funny, funny place. Time is a flat circle. What's the expression right there? It's something like that. Tell you this much. This is the Carmelo Anthony situation 2.0. Carmelo Anthony wanted to be a Knick. The Knicks wanted to wait till he was a free agent. But he didn't want to be a free agent. He wanted to go to the Knicks and get that guaranteed money, and there was a lockout season looming. Donovan Mitchell, he's going to be a free agent in 2025. He wants to be a Knick. Will the Knicks be patient enough to wait, or will they get that itch and that hunger to make a blockbuster move and trade for Mitchell? I hope not. There is no need to trade for Donovan Mitchell. There is no need to shell out more assets for Donovan Mitchell. If you know Leon Rose, if Leon Rose knows that Mitchell wants to be a Knick, and if he becomes, and when he becomes a free agent in the summer of 2025, that he is going to sign on the dotted line to play for the New York Knicks in the mecca of basketball, why would you trade assets and go make a move for him? There's no reason. Just sit down and wait. Let Mitchell come sign in free agency. Let Donovan Mitchell wait in free agency. Let him wait. He'll only be 28 years old when free agency opens in 2025. He'll still have multiple prime years left in his career. Because I'm not trading for Mitchell. I'm not giving up the assets and the draft picks that were rumored last summer for Mitchell now, who only has 2 years left on his contract compared to 3 years last season. You want to be a Nick Mitchell? Come prove it. Come sign on that dotted line. The question, though, that you got to ask yourself is this. Can a Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell backcourt work? And not just work. Can you win an NBA championship with Jalen Brunson as your point guard and Donovan Mitchell as your shooting guard? Let's break it down. We know Donovan Mitchell is one of the best shooting and scoring guards in the NBA. Just put his best season in the books for Cleveland. Played in 68 games, 28.3 points per night. His career high, I believe, 4.3 rebounds, and it was the most efficient he's been from the field in his NBA career. 48.4% from the field and a blistering 38.6% from three. That's why he was an all-NBA player, and that's why people had him in the top 10 of their MVP ballot. The thing with Mitchell that is starting to scare me is that his numbers, his production, and his impact kind of shrinks in the playoffs. Over the last 2 years, Donovan Mitchell has played in 11 playoff games. He played for 6 for the Utah Jazz when they lost to the Dallas Mavericks in 2022, and he lost in 5 against the New York Knicks in 2023. And in those games, Mitchell is averaging 24.5 points per game. Good. 4.6 rebounds. Good. 6+ assists. Good. But he's like Russell Westbrook efficiency from the field. 41% from the field and 24.7% from three. Is 11 games a large enough sample size to worry? Probably not, but I'm definitely going to be monitoring Mitchell in the playoffs for the years to come, as the last 2 years, he's gotten the break speed off him by Jalen Brunson and has not been an efficient basketball player. At the end of the day, with all the rumors, with all the smoke, with all the connections, this is what I got to say. I would love to have Donovan Mitchell on the Knicks. Would love to have you. If you want to come sign in 2025, we'll open up the starting shooting guard spot for you. But you don't need to go all in and make a trade happen. Learn from the past mistakes of the organization. You don't need to go trade for Melo if he's going to sign in free agency. You don't need to go trade Donovan Mitchell if he is going to come out and sign with the Knicks in 2025. No reason to it. Let's close the show with this question. Let's poll the audience here. Put your thinking caps on and predict it. Will Donovan Mitchell ever be a New York Knick? Will he ever wear the orange and blue with New York across his chest? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think he is. I think one day Mitchell will be a Knick. As always, thank you. I appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to rock with us here on New York Knicks Now for a couple of minutes. Remember, we're going to be live on the channel on Friday for NBA free agency, so subscribe and turn your notifications on. And as always, have a good one.